everyone and happy Monday. Now we have this lovely toadstool mushroom house to colour for this week's planner page. This is from the Johanna Basford weekly planner, and it's also a page from Worlds of Wonder, I want to say. I think it is. It's definitely not World of Flowers, so Worlds of Wonder. So where do we start? Well, firstly, I've got my Holbein pencils. I did promise Claire, who bought me them, that I would be doing some planner pages using them. So I am, but if you don't have them, I have some comparison charts that might be useful to you if you want to use a different brand and try and colour along. Now, the beginning is our actual top of our mushroom. That's where I'm going to start. And I've coloured this in different ways. I've coloured this picture several times before, and I've done the top part in blue and I've done it in red, and I feel like I want to do it in red again, so that's what I am going to do today. I am having a good look at my Holbein chart and trying to work out if I'm going sort of reds to oranges, or if I'm going to use some of the sort of more browny colours to start with. I think I might start with the brick colour actually, which is in our brown section, or at least it's where it is on mine. So here is the brick, and this is what I'm going to be using first, and I'm going to use it along the bottom here. I'm doing just a sort of line at the moment, but I will be blending it out in a bit. I'm just sort of thinking about where I want it at the moment. So all the way along, whoops, the bottom here, but also along this line here. I'm going to just sharpen my pencil. I've got my Tegao sharpener. I've been using this quite a lot over the last few days. Really liking it. It's deposited a lot of crumbs all over my pencil wood, but that's okay. Now I'm layering it up quite a lot here because I don't really want another layer of colour necessarily on this part at the bottom, so I'm putting lots of layers of this colour on, whereas on our main mushroom I might put some other colours, probably we'll put other colours on top. Now I'm going to also take this colour up the sides. My idea is to sort of fade the mushroom towards the centre, so using the darkest colours on the edges, like this. So I'm going to just scumble that out a little bit, like that, so it sort of fades as we come out from the edge, like that. And then the same here. Like this, and coming all the way, oops, just trying to get it roughly the same thickness of line. It doesn't matter that much in my opinion, but just working that colour all the way around. I do want to make sure it's darker though on this very edge, because I want it to lighten as we go in. I hope everyone's doing okay today. I'm actually managing to get on top of my work at last. Fortunately, husband has been well. His meds seem to be sorting out his DVT. They are giving him some other side effects, which we're going to talk to the doctor about when we see him. Not until the 26th. But in the meantime, you know, they're obviously doing a very important job. I'm going to switch colours now. I'm going to turn back to the reds at the beginning of our, and I'm going to go for the scarlet. The scarlet. Oh, here it is. It's quite an orangey red. That's what I want. Okay. And I'm going to go over what I've done here and then just extend in. Now I am covering up the brick, but you can still see it through underneath our colour. And just taking that red further in. Yeah, so he's doing okay. He's trying to sort out his exercise. Now, it's quite difficult dealing with a husband who's got ADHD and procrastinates. I think one's a result of the other, but not necessarily so. Because if it was me and someone said to me, right, you've got this thing and you need to do this. You know, you've got DVT, you need to drink more, you need to exercise more. I would immediately be like, right, I must go for a walk every day, I must go for longer walks, and in fact I'm doing that, even though it's not me. I must drink more, although I drink loads, so if I drank much more I would be up and down to the loo every 15 minutes. Yeah, so I would be, and I would probably replace some of my coffees with water, things like that, you know. So I would be but he's like, no, I've got to think of a way to do it, and I've got to plan it and think it through, and you know. And so, you know, when the phone rang last night, for example, or the night before, it was his dad ringing. I knew that his dad rings at the same time. So I was like, instead of me grabbing the phone and carrying it to him, I was like, right, you've got to get up and get the phone. And he was quite cross because he was in the middle of something. He had something on his lap. He was worried that if he wasn't fast enough, it would ring off. So he got up in a rush and was, you know, and I was actually, this is great. This is what you need to be doing. And also, so saying, asking him to make me a drink so that he makes himself one and gets up. Whereas normally I would just make myself and him a drink, you know. That's the way our relationship is. I'm the sort of doer and getting on, and he just sits and ponders and doesn't. But I know I can't let him do that anymore, and it's so hard. And I sympathise with anyone who's been through it. It's so hard. I am used to taking the lead in, this is the vermillion. I'm just going to sharpen it. I'm just going to do exactly the same thing as we've been doing. You know, if something needs doing, I just jump up and do it. I don't think about it, you know. And now I've got to think, right, that needs doing. I'll get him to, like the dishwasher needed emptying this morning. And I thought, well, I could do it. Absolutely. But if I leave it, he'll do it, because he will. If I leave things, he does it without me even asking, which is nice. But of course, I would just, because he's going to work today, I thought, well, I would normally do it. But I think if he does it, it's not going to make him late for work. It's just going to take up time that he would be scrolling on his phone. And he's on his feet and moving and exercising, you know. I mean, I know it's only a little thing, but all these things add up. So I purposely left it, and he didn't get cross. He just did it. He didn't even say anything. He could see that I was sitting down with my coffee doing the crossword. I felt really, really lazy, and I felt like I should be helping. But I don't want to end up being lazy and not doing anything and end up doing myself a problem. But I think I need to just get him more into the habit of doing, do you know what I mean? And get me into the habit of letting him do. So there was all that. So, yeah, I'm sort of thinking about it as much as him, but in a different sort of way. And it's so hard. Has anyone's got any tips if they've had to do the same thing? Oh, let me know. He did send me a video this morning which was saying about how exercise can help ADHD. And it was about the different endorphins and dopamine that's released by different types of exercise and how different types can help your brain in different ways. I don't know if it was entirely true, but I thought, well, it's worth a try, because I know that different people react in different ways to different things. So, you know, but I thought, well, you know, if he's going to have a go at trying some strength training and some aerobic exercise and things like that, that's brilliant. You know, it is, you know, if it inspires him, that's great. So I thought it was a good little thing to think about, you know. Now you can see that these layers, there's still quite a lot of white paper showing through. Now I find that happens with these pencils. They don't fully fill the paper, but it depends how many layers you put on. And at the moment, I need to sharpen it, we're at the stage of building up layers, so it doesn't matter. But once I get to the point where I've got enough layers, I might go over with a blending pencil just to burnish it. I know that sounds like you know, I should use a burnisher to burnish, but I find that the only blending pencil that really works with these is the Koh-i-noor Polycolor blending pencil. So it's a blender, but it works. It does help to sort of burnish it as well. So there's a bit more of that. Trying to work out if it's even. I don't know if it needs to be exactly even. We're moving on to an orange now. I don't know what this colour is. It is Tiger Lily. It's really hard for you to see. I'm just working through the spectrum of colours, how I've got them arranged in my pencil case, how they're arranged on my swatch chart actually. So let's start about here. I think we don't want to go too orange in there. We want to see some of the red. But yeah, it's very difficult. It's also frustrating because I like things done. You know, I'm that sort of, right, let's just get on and do it. waiting for someone else to do it. But it teaches me patience, which is a good thing. And also we can do things together, and we do things together. Often we do the dishwasher together, but this morning I just let him do it. He also needed to burn off some adrenaline because he was a bit stressed about work, because his one boss has let him go off her project, saying she couldn't afford to have as many members of staff as she's got, and because the job was obviously causing him so much stress, which had made him ill, she was going to let him go. And so he had a great weekend, mainly thinking, yay, I haven't got to think about work for a weekend because I've got a job. But then he went back in today feeling a little bit anxious about what he was going to do, but she's backtracked and said she needs him one day a week. I thought she might, because he's got knowledge that the other staff members don't have. And anyway, just because he's been working on a project for so long and the new staff members haven't been, but he said he's also seen there's a job available that he's looking at, and also there's a role that he'd like to do which he's been asking around. So there's a good few things for him. He's just got to talk to people and get it sorted out, you know. And he's quite happy with going off and networking with people, chatting to them about jobs, and you know, and because he talks to everybody, he's quite well known in the office. I don't know if that's an ADHD thing, just randomly yapping to everyone. I do that though. I don't think I've got ADHD. Maybe I have, who knows. Anyway, I certainly yap to anybody who wants me to, and anybody who doesn't. You know, I'm one of those weirdos that you come across on the street and just starts talking to you randomly. That's me. Orange. Or I just randomly talk to a camera and assume that there are people there, which there aren't. I mean, I know you're there when you listen, but you aren't there now. Anyway. Yeah, sorry, this is orange. I think I did show you. So, yes, I am that random person. I know that my niece's fiance thinks I have autism, and he thinks my kids and my husband do, but none of us have been diagnosed with it. My one son has been to see a paediatrician, and it was mentioned to her about it, but she didn't see it in him. And my other son has no traits. Well, you know, not a great deal. And husband's traits that are autistic traits are actually also ADHD traits, so he thinks it's due to his ADHD. So, yeah, it's, I mean, it's interesting. I know some people feel that being diagnosed gives them a sense of freedom and explanation for things that perhaps didn't quite add up in life and things like that, and I think that's great. But for me, if I had that diagnosis, I think it would kick my mental health hugely. I would suddenly be absolutely terrified that I was different to everybody else, and everybody else had always known it. This is tangerine, and that I stood out. People could see me, see that I was different, you know, things like that. I would hate it. I've always wanted to try and just quietly fit in and disappear, you know, and that would just be the most horrible thing for me personally. So whether I've got it or not, I don't want to know, you know. Whereas my sister is going through a diagnosis at the moment. Well, she's not quite yet, but she's having some I don't know what you call it. I was going to say tests. That's not the right word. I don't know. Questionnaires and interviews and things they do to find out if she's got it. And I know that she'll tell me that if she's got it, I've got it, because we're identical twins, but it's not always genetic. This is Polycolor 0. This is my blender. I'm just going to blend this all over now. I'm going to use little circular movements and just move across all areas. You don't have to blend it. If you have done enough layers so that it looks satisfactory to you, or the white paper isn't showing through on yours, it might depend on how heavy-handed you were, or you just like it like that, then that's fine. I sort of do like it with white dots showing through sometimes, but I just want to demonstrate to you how to get a smoother finish if that's what you want. It also helps the colours to sort of mix together a little bit more. So there is that aspect of it as well, and that bit that I missed. I'm just going to try and smush some colour into. There we go. So we will find out what her diagnosis is. She also has a daughter who has autism and 2 sons, but they don't. Her daughters and sons have different dads, so it makes her wonder if it's her that's passed on the gene. But yeah, who knows, both their dads might have it for all we know, or it might not be genetic, or, you know, I know someone explained to me about the genes of it all before. You know, it's not always, you know, it doesn't always get passed on, just like any genetic thing really. So it just might be that it hasn't come from her. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see what the result is either way, I think. But yeah, it's interesting because my husband really hated the idea of people being labelled with something, you know. He felt that it would affect their self-esteem, but actually when he got his ADHD diagnosis, he really liked it because he could go on the pills, the dopamine, I don't know what they're called, Elvance is the brand name, and it's really helped him with his focus, so he's really pleased in that sense. But and he's quite happy to talk about it and tell everyone, which is why I'm telling you, because yeah, he there, you know, obviously don't tell everybody's secrets, but it's not a secret. He's happy to tell anybody who will listen that he's been diagnosed with it, and it's great. And he also has now started doing the thing which I used to do when I was diagnosed with something, looking at other people and diagnosing them with it as well. And I need to tell him to stop doing that, because just because someone's got a few traits doesn't mean they've got it. Just because you've got it doesn't mean you're qualified to diagnose it in somebody else. But anyway, and actually that's the most annoying thing for me, is when someone tells me I've got something. So I used to do it, as I said. It looks nice and warm, doesn't it, this? Now I'm going to do this bit here next, and I have a little way that I've been doing this lately, and I want a dark brown. I think I'm going to use the chocolate. I think that's the best brown for this. I'm just going to give it a sharpen as always and show you. Let's make makes a nice noise, this sharp. It's a lovely sharp blade. I did have a little look, here's the chocolate, to see if I could get some replacement blades for this sharpener, because it's such a lovely, lovely sharpener that I thought I would want to replace the blades when they ran out. But and it's the sharpener that came with these Holbeins, the Tagal. But unfortunately I wasn't able to find any. I only looked in one place, to be fair, on Amazon, but I wasn't able to find any. So I'm not sure. It's very hard to buy replacement blades in this country. I think we're a bit health and safety mad. Might cut your finger off. Well, you might. I mean, yes. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm putting more colour here on the line and then just fading it across towards the other line to give a more textured look to the gills underneath the toadstool mushroom. You know that thing, the toadstool mushroom. So yes, I haven't been able to find replacement blades, but I don't even know if you can. I mean, there's screws on the blade, but I don't know how. I think it's I don't know how easily you could get to it. You can take the end off to empty it, but you can take another bit off as well, it looks like. So if you look, you've got a slidey bit there that take off to empty that, but there's a line round here as well, as if you can remove this bit, and I wonder if that you can then get into the screws of the, you want to see all my pencil sharpenings, the screws of the actual blade. So it looks like it's possible, but I can go to their website. The company name is on the back, Kutsuma, something like that. See if they have them on their website. I assume they're Japanese because Holbein are. I don't know for sure. Although I might find a company like Colt Pens or someone might sell them. Right, I'm going to do my window frames in this colour as well. So I could get in touch with them. But I need to, yeah, any company that sells the sharpener might possibly have a blade. I don't want to have to sort of import them from Japan though. They're expensive. It might be cheaper to buy a new sharpener. It all seems so wasteful, doesn't it? I'm sure you agree and have had the same problem yourself. Now when we've done these window frames, we're going to do the stem. There we go. Our stem is quite tricky. This top bit's easy-ish, but down here it's all covered in all sorts of bits and pieces. But I'm sure we'll manage. Now I want a warm grey for the stem. I'm just looking to see, actually we might have a more pastel-y tone that we could use. They're all quite warm, like yellowy, warm. I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the warm grey 3, which is here, and then I might put some other shades on top. So this is my warm grey 3, and I'm going to just put a layer all the way along here to start with getting a little more faded towards the centre, just to make it give it a little bit more shape, because this is going to be rounded. So we'll do that first. I'm just going to do this very top section at the moment. So I'm just going to layer up that outside a little bit more at the minute. I'm going to add some other features. Features? That sounds exciting, doesn't it? Maybe it will be exciting. Okay, I'm going to look for a colour. Right, I'm going to use the Ash Rose. I think that's going to be the colour that matches with the top the best. Here it is, Ash Rose. Sharpen it, and I'm going to put in a little hint of this sort of pinky colour. I think I'm just going to colour over the top of what's here, just to give us a hint of a prettiness and a slightly different colour. like that. So you want to still go darker on the edge than the middle, just so it sort of, you get this the same proportion of pink to grey. There we go. But now we're going to go back to our greys. We're going to grab our warm grey 5. Oh, it's nice and sharp. Warm grey 5. It's probably impossible for you to see that. I think that's sharp enough. And we're going to have a look at these little lines down here. So wherever one comes up, I'm going to put a line like that to make it look like our mushroom is a bit crinkly. No, it's just going to look a bit striped to start with, but it will come along in a bit. So these are the sort of darkest parts, and that one. Just going to put a dark bit along here as well, where these lines are. Just sort of taper it off with a circular motion like that. There we go. And now we need the colour in between our greys. So this is the cold grey, warm grey 4. Sorry, I've been using warm greys, not cold grey. Sharpen this up. And what we want to do is make each of these little sections look a bit more three-dimensional. So we go along that dark edge and just extend it. So here you can see better. So extend that dark edge towards that centre area and here, fading as you go, so that we add a bit of shape to this bit. And the same here. Like that. Keep going along. This one's quite big. I'm actually going to put a little line in there. Like that. Into here. And from this one. And as you can see, it's beginning to look a little bit more shaped. Which is what I wanted to do. Make the little skirty bit look like it's got pleats. And we're just trying to add, you know, some dimension, 3 dimensions to it really. There we go. So we've got a little bit more shape to our skirt. Now this bottom part is really much more complicated because we've got all of this detail going on in front of it. So I think here we'll keep it much more simple. I'm going to use the warm grey 3, number 3, and just do a layer. Really even, well, I say really even as I can get. I need to sharpen it, I think, soonish. It's a funny clunking noise. It's quite windy outside. I think it's raining as well. It's really dark. I've actually shut the blind and put the lamp up quite high so that it gives me a bit more light across my whole desk, and means I don't have to look out and watch the rain. It's quite nice looking out though sometimes, looking at the birds and things. Birds have been quite sing-songy, which has been rather nice. I got woken up the other morning by a bird. It's a lovely way to wake up, and it wasn't that early. It was beautiful singing. I wonder if that's why we can sing. Maybe we can attract our mates by singing. I don't know. I've never tried. Okay, now I want to make the edges darker and some shadow under this skirty bit. I think I'm just going to go for the darker brown, grey, sorry, the warm grey 5, and try this, the shadowy bits, and if it looks too similar to this I might put a different colour in with it. But because we've got the ash rose at the top there, I'm hoping it looks a different colour to this. I'm just going to put the shadow in here where this would be overlapping. Probably need to sharpen really, like that, and then the sides I'm just going to bring in a bit like that. So a fairly dark layer on the edge and bring it in. Yeah, definitely you can see the difference between the shades with that bit of ash rose in there. It definitely has got a slightly pinky hint to it. I'm just going to sharpen this. It is the wrong shape for this sharpener, but it will go very funny looking, look. But it's sharp, which is the main thing. So just going to put my specs on. Okay. Yeah, another thing I need to remind husband about is his specs. He always forgets to put them on when he's driving. It's a bit of a worry. So I've got this finicky edge here with these leaves. I've always liked this picture though. There's just something about it that I just find so attractive, even with it being so small and finicky. I'm still really keen to colour it. I think this edge is a little bit lighter than the other side. So I'm just gonna go over it a little bit more. There we go. It's only Tuesday. I keep thinking when it's I know it's Monday when this video goes out, but I keep thinking it's a bit later in the week, but it isn't. Sometime, I mean, I don't want to wish the time away. That's never a good thing to do. But I am excited about the Masked Singer final. Woohoo! It would have been out ages ago. I'm getting quite far ahead in my work now, which is nice. But I'm so excited about it. My mum was like, what's on after? I was like, oh, it's Britain's Got Talent. She's like, it's like, I know, it's not a show that I've watched very much. A little bit, but it's not one I'm too keen on. Okay, I don't know, I think I will put a little bit of shadow around the door frame, but I'm going to keep this a bit lighter because we're on a sort of lighter bit of the mushroom. So just a little bit, and then also around these. I could do with a bit more in there. Now, how long have we been? 33 minutes. Okay, I think we can do the door. Now, just taking my specs off so I can have a little look at what colours I've got. Now, I want a wooden door. I think I'm going to start with a pale colour and then build up some colour. So I'm going to start with the beige. You would laugh if you could see me the wrong way. I put my glasses right on the end of my nose so I can see over the top of them. Just fell off then. And where is the beige? Is that the beige? I can't read it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start with a beige. Oh, there you go. I don't know how easy. There. Can you see that? And just do the whole of the door in the beige colour. I don't want this to be a really, really dark brown, you see, which which is why I want to put this lighter colour in, but we do need to put a little bit of darker colour in, I think. Could put some moss on it as well. It's quite small, but we could do, I think. Depends how it ends up looking. There we go. Sort of base layer of beige. Now we need to go darker. I'm turning back to my browns now. I am thinking the burnt umber might be the way to go. Now in this set, the burnt umber isn't quite as dark as the chocolate and the sepia. So I'm going to just do a little bit around the edge to start with. I don't want it too dark, but it seems to want to come out dark anyway. I can hear a bird singing now. Really loud. Then these lines. There we go, and then some little bits in between. And I'll see whether I want it any darker. Just adding, I tend to make lines. I think it looks a bit more like it's made of, it's got some grain in the wood. Might end up making it look a little bit more like it's bark, but there we go. I'm alright with that. I'm quite happy with that, but I am going to do the door frame in the chocolate. Remember we used that for the window frame too, so it feels like it makes sense to use it for this as well. Oh, I haven't done the bottom of the door. I thought that was a step, and now I'm putting the door frame in. I realise it's the bottom of the door. We'll do that in a minute. Just carefully do this bit. Like that, and around the window. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the beige colour. Here it is, beige. And colour this bit. Now I need to go this way this time. It's like you've got a wood panel going the other way. And then what do we use? This is the chocolate. Burnt umber. Burnt umber. My memory. How long ago was it? Like a minute. I'm going to just put in some lines. There's some lines drawn on here, just to darken it and to give it the look of wood grain. Okay, now in those windows, what colour? Well, I don't really want like bright yellow, but I do want warm light, so I'm going to grab this colour. This is the yellow ochre. So it looks quite orange in the camera, but I think it will go quite nicely with this. So I'm going to fill this in with yellow ochre, and then I'm also going to do the same with our windows. So we have got curtains at these windows, so I need to be careful because we don't want to colour over those, or do those a different colour. Not sure what colour yet. Something that's going to match this sort of yellow and green. Yellow and green. No, yellow and orangey sort of colour. So just filling that in. And I'm just going to do a couple more details before I finish for today. So those curtains. Now I am thinking green. You know, I said green. That's because I was thinking about green. But I'm wondering whether they might be red, or whether they might be orange. No, I'm thinking let's go for a red. Let's go for this. This is the signal red. I think I'll do them in this. go. Just blocking them in really. Quite fiddly. Then you could make them a little bit darker near the tie back. You know, above and below the tie back it'd be a bit darker where it's gathered, but it's too fiddly, so I'm trying to work out what that line is. It's actually a loose piece of pencil crumb. There. So there is that. Now, last part that I haven't done are the dots on here. Now I feel like they need a little bit of shadow underneath them, and I'm going to use my burnt umber for that, which I'm just going to sharpen. So here it is, burnt umber. Now I also feel we need a bit of shadow underneath the leaves here, which I'm going to put in as well. Apparently first. This takes a lot of concentration, hence the sudden lack of talking. Although my mouth's getting dry, I'm going to get a coffee. I've made a coffee, it's waiting for me. Hopefully it's not too cold. Yeah, I made it before I recorded. It's sitting next door getting cold. I'm also in the middle of a picture next door, which is a lot of fun. It's a page from Magical Worlds. What I've done is I looked at pages that I thought I might make videos from and ones that I didn't, and so I can do the ones that I'm not going to make videos from. I can't even, I'm trying to remember what page it is. Oh, it's the succulent, the large succulent with the fish swimming in the pot. I'd watched Emily Illustrator's video for this, and it's lovely. And although I'm trying not to think, well, she's done it so I can't, because obviously that isn't a thing, but the fact that I can remember how she's did it makes me think I'm gonna be too influenced by what she did on her video. But there are the 3 ones on their own, so I could potentially do those as videos, a bit shorter, but I haven't decided yet. I've also been through my Small Victories book today to have a look at what I haven't done videos of in there, because I thought I might do a little bit more from there, just in case people haven't got Magical Worlds and want something a bit different. But I'll be finishing Magical Worlds this year, so that's why I've been doing a bit in it. Right, I think that's pretty much it. She says keeping going. Just trying to put in these shadowy bits. Now, these circles, what I'm going to do is just grab my beige and just colour them in, but I'll show you with the biggest one here actually. I'm going to leave a white border, so I'm virtually going to colour a circle in the middle. And I find that helps to give it a little bit more texture. It looks a bit more three-dimensional somehow. But I'm going to put another colour on as well, which will hopefully finish them off. I'm going to use the tiniest bit of chocolate. Chocolate. I bought some chocolate today. My sweet shop actually had some 100% in. It was a Willie's cacao bar, which I 100%, calls it pure 100 or something. His bars are really nice because they are really smooth. They don't have like emulsifiers and things in. He just conches them for a long old time to get a really lovely smooth texture. to the bar, so it's really soft and melty, which is very nice. Okay, I am looking at some of these edges thinking they could do with a bit more blending, but apart from that I think I might leave it for today. I'm just pondering that issue. Yeah, because we've got the little tiny mushroom left, but mainly flowers and leaves, and so we could sort of do a flowers and leaves video, couldn't we? Just doing a bit more blending. You can see how it can smooth it all out if you keep persevering with it. It doesn't look like I did any in this corner. Maybe I need to just do it a bit more. Anyway, there it is. I'm going to leave it there. You probably, from a distance, it's much harder to see the non-blendy bits. There we go. So there is part 1 done. We've got a lot to do. I don't know if it'll be one other video or two. We'll wait and see. I mean, that was 3/4 of an hour just for the actual mushroom. There we go. But anyway, thank you for watching. Hope that you have a lovely day and happy colouring.